The issues that our members are affect everybody. It's about the economy, it's about jobs, it's about foreclosure questions, it's obviously about health insurance, it's about having a better future for our kids. The other issue is immigration. You know, her recent ads have made it appear like all Latinos are gang members, which is just outrageous, and I guess racism is alive and well.
This is what I talk to people. You know what? You cannot pay attention to those commercials. That is commercial, that is another stuff. We need to have clear one thing. With Harry Reid, we will have future in this country. Not with Maddow angle.
They understand that they're trying to criminalize an ethnic group. Unfortunately, that's a long tradition in this country, going back, for example, just recently in 1988 with the Horton ads.
If Harry Reid doesn't get into office, I think this city is through, because Sharon Angle wants to do absolutely nothing for this city.
You're not going to do nothing for us. If you, when the media trying to talk to you, you run away from them, you don't stop and say something, you know. Why are you running for senator then? You know, if you cannot answer a simple question.
Sharon Angle is too extreme. She wants to take away Social Security, Medicaid, especially the Department of Education, when the kids are the most important because they are our future.
People from outside the state who are spending all this money to, like, knock Harry Reid, they don't live here, they don't care about here. It's all part of a jigsaw puzzle. I think the people in this state very much can make their own decisions, and frankly, I wish the people from, you know, New York, Washington, LA, Seattle, Chicago who don't live here just stay out.
The views of Nevada's very influential culinary union, their members speaking to us there. You know, their turnout efforts are seen as key to Democratic chances here in Nevada. Just hours ago, I caught up with the Democratic candidate for Senate who was counting on those union votes in order to try to keep his seat. He is, of course, the Senate's majority leader, Harry Reid. The closing argument from your opponent, from Sharon Angle, appears to be about immigration. She's running these, in my opinion, very racially charged ads showing Latino actors, models, menacing, in a menacing way while talking about immigration. It seems like because that is her strategy, Latino voter turnout on the Democratic side may be very important to you. What is your strategy for trying to turn out Latino voters, and what's your message to them?
Well, my goal is to turn out all voters, but I think we have an especially difficult situation in which she's created. I think everyone in America knows the immigration system's broken and needs to be fixed, and I've worked very hard to get that done. However, all she does is cause people to be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid. We've got to work our way through this issue. She has not issued one positive statement, one constructive statement about what we do with the issue of immigration. It's something we have to fix, and we're willing to do that. But we can't do it with people like her demagoguing the issue. And to think that someone would suggest in America that people should not vote. She has been part of an effort to have people not vote. They tried to get up some TV ads. Thank goodness the Hispanic stations wouldn't run them, but now they're passing out literature in areas that are heavily Hispanic saying don't vote. I mean, that's about as un-American as you can get.
Now, was that when, in the television advertisements, which I'm aware of, that was not a Sharon Angle campaign effort. It seemed to be at least an independent effort, but you think that she had something to do with it?
But wouldn't you think that if something as negative, irresponsible, and as unpatriotic as that, wouldn't you think somebody would denounce it? She's never said a single word that it's wrong what they're doing. She is in the background urging them on, I'm certain.
In terms of the message to Latino voters and the fight for the Latino vote in this state, of course, the issue that has been used against you from the right is that immigration reform hasn't gone anywhere, and that you as majority leader bear responsibility for that, and that if you really were doing right by Latino voters, that would have been voted on already.
Well, the one group of people that disbelieves that totally are Hispanics. They know that I've spent more time the last two Congresses on immigration than any other issue, period. And we had a pretty good deal going. We had Senator Kennedy and Senator McCain leading the effort the last Congress. Well, Senator Kennedy has passed away. John McCain has gone to some other place, and he has been no constructive voice at all in immigration reform. Hopefully when he gets the election over, he'll come back and take up where he left off last Congress. But we can't do it alone. I don't have 60 votes. We have to have 60 votes to get anything done. I can get 95% of the Democrats. I would hope that we could get 15% of the Republicans, and we haven't gotten one.
Why is it that everything takes 60 votes now? I mean, it used to be 60 votes was a headline. If somebody forced 60 votes, that meant they were filibustering, and that meant that they were taking an unusually strong stand against something. Now it's 60 votes even for routine
Rachel,
votes.
This has to change. It's wrong what they're doing, because it's never happened before.
Yeah.
It reminds me kind of the spitball in baseball. That used to be illegal. They abused it. They got rid of it. The great college coach Dean Smith, he could win whichever he wanted to. He decided, look, if I get ahead, I'm going to invent a new offense called the four corner to stall the game. He abused the system, and they got rid of it. That's where the time clock came from. The Republicans, just this time, have abused the system, and it's going to have to change. We're going to have to look at ways to change that, because there should not be 60 votes in the Senate.
So would you would support efforts to change the rules around the filibuster so that there won't be a 60-vote threshold for every vote?
Well, that's right, not for every vote. We're going to have to change some of the rules, and I know how to do it, and we're going to have to take a hard look at it. They have abused the rules, just like the spitball and stalling a game in basketball. Even though this is more serious than an athletic contest, it's still the same principle. You can't have 60 votes be the vote of the day. It's never been that way before, and they've made it this way, and it's really stopped us from moving forward as easily as we should. We've had to work around all this whole Congress.
If you pull out this race, and Democrats broadly pull out this race, and Democrats maintain control, and you're still majority leader, undoubtedly there are going to be more Republicans in the Senate in the next Congress than there are now. If 60 votes has been the problem in terms of getting important legislation passed, what's the strategy for getting stuff passed with even fewer Democrats than you have now?
I really believe that the efforts to stall everything for the election, that'll be gone. And I think they will find it, and it hasn't worked very well. It is pretty clear. I'm not an expert on the House, but in the Senate, we're going to be in the majority when this is all over with. And I think there will be an effort to work together. I've spoken to Mitch McConnell before we left, and I think there will be an effort to work more closely together. I certainly hope that's the case. My opponent, has a strange view of government. She said what she wants to do is throw some sand in the gears and slow things down. Well, I don't think that's a very good approach to governing, but she is against everything, so I guess she's against progress also. I mean, she's against Social Security, she's against Medicare, she's against Medicaid, she is Department of Energy, Department of Education, she's against the Veterans Administration. She wants to privatize that, and on with all this nonsense that is so extreme and dangerous to Nevada and I think the country.
One last question for you, and it is on the Senate writ large. Mitch McConnell, the Republican minority leader, said recently that the most important goal of Republicans in the next Congress, no matter whether they win majority or whether they don't, the most important goal, their preeminent goal, is to make sure that Barack Obama is a one-term president. It is hard to imagine, with that being their perspective, his admitted perspective on this, that there's going to be more opportunity for consensus and working together.
Well, I'm certainly sorry to hear Mitch having said that. I worked as closely as I could with President Reagan, the first President Bush, and the second President Bush. I think that we have to work as a country. I don't think we can work as political parties. I think we have to work together. Legislation is the art of compromise. And when anyone says that the number one goal is to defeat somebody running for president, that's not very sensible, and I think that's not a good way to go. Barack Obama, like all presidents in their second term, is going to have a different view of how we proceed in government. He was here just a few days ago. He knows where we're headed. And I think he has been governing really hard for 2 years. And remember, he can campaign too. So I don't think that's a very good strategy.
Do you have any suggestions for me on how I can get Sharon Engel to talk to me while I'm here in Vegas?
Maybe you should do what she does. Pretend you're somebody else.
Put on disguise, you think that might work?
It might work, yeah.
All right. Well, Senator Harry Reid.
Maybe you could dress up as Bill O'Reilly.
You know, she might be more comfortable in that regard. Does anybody have a suit I can borrow?
I don't think it's a suit. I think it's the face.
Senator Reid, good luck to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. So we did get Senator Harry Reid to agree to an interview today. Grateful to the senator for that time. He is a busy guy, probably more busy as Senate Majority Leader than his opponent, Sharon Engel, who would not agree to an interview with us. But we did come all the way to Vegas to try to get that interview, and we did end up asking around, and it did end up being really fun and illuminating in all sorts of unexpected ways. That's next. We are live in Las Vegas.